I have the amazing Lauren Bowling of LB and the Money Tree blog, and she is here live. Hi, Lauren.
Hi, Karen. How are
I'm
you?
okay. How are you?
I'm doing really well today. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. So I'm just going to dive right in, Lauren. Tell me
Okay.
about what you do.
So, the main thing I do, or what most people know me for, is my personal finance site, LB and the Money Tree. It has financial advice, but mostly it's sort of like a diary of my financial experiences, what works, what doesn't, what I'm good at, what I'm not good at, things of that nature. And then the blog has become so successful, I was able to leave my full-time job and start working as a freelance writer and marketing consultant. I have a marketing background, and so I have Beehive Content, that's my business. And so that's just a little bit about what I do.
Okay, Beehive content. I like that.
Yeah, the guy at the bank when I was setting up my business checking was like, "What's with the bees?" And I'm like, "They're my spirit animal, you know." And I just thought they're cute.
All
So,
right, do it. Why not? Okay. Next question. So tell me, what did you want to do as a kid and why?
well, the funny answer to this is I wanted to be just like Kelly Kapowski on Saved by the Bell, and so I wanted to be a waitress because she was a waitress. But that's not really like a super difficult career goal to get to. But I also spent a lot of my time as a child writing plays and then performing them for people, like whoever could be,
Oh, wow.
whoever a captive audience. And so I did end up getting a theater degree and moving to New York for a while and becoming an actress because my mom saw me doing these plays and was like, "Oh, we should really foster the acting talent and give her voice lessons and dance lessons." But as I got older, I realized my personality was more in line as a writer. So that's what I ended up doing, and what I think I'll be doing for the next 50 years.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing. Writing is where it's at.
I know. They
Yeah.
say if you want to figure out what your passion is, to go back to childhood. Like, what did you like to do
Mm-hmm.
when no one was telling you what you should be doing?
Mm-hmm. Wow. True. Very true. Okay, so when did you figure it out, what you were supposed to do? When did you figure it out?
I moved back from New York City after having, I didn't like New York, having failed kind of as an actor, realizing I wasn't hungry enough to compete with everyone because it's a very competitive business. So I moved home and I was very, very lost. And my mom said, "You should start blogging just to like keep your skills sharp."
Mm-hmm.
And so I did, and I liked it way more than I ever thought I would like it. And the blog kind of caught on, and people came back and started reading. And that was the moment where I was like, "This really lights me up inside. I would stay up all night doing this if I could." And so that's when I figured that out.
Okay. Wow. That passion, I can see it in your
Mhm.
face. That's right. I can see it. Okay. So, what are you afraid of, Lauren? Tell me something that you're afraid of.
Well, now that I've gone full time with my own business, it hasn't been that long, so I'm worried about, am I going to make enough money to support myself? Am I going to make enough to weather any hard times that are going to come down the road? Because there will always be hard
Sure.
times. I think women especially kind of worry about providing for ourselves, like I'm going to end up homeless on the street, able to pay my mortgage, that type of thing. So
Yeah.
that's a fear that's very present and top of mind at the moment for me.
Okay. So, when you're stressed out, or maybe you're feeling unworthy, either, how do you get back to your normal? What do you do?
At the start of 2015, I started journaling, which may surprise some people because I've been writing for 2 or 3 years, but and I have LB the Money Tree, which is like a journal, but it's very structured and you have to come up with content and maybe do a little research. I never just journaled my feelings or my thoughts. And
Mm.
so that's something that whenever I'm upset or have something I need to get out that's maybe not appropriate, for a finance blog,
Yeah.
that's where that goes. And I found it to be incredibly helpful in sort of stabilizing my emotions and making me feel better.
Okay. So, do you have a lot of journals?
I have one big journal and it's all just like brain dump
Okay.
in there.
Okay. All right. Cool. Cool. So, tell me about your latest endeavor. You told me kind of like you left your full time job and you now have your marketing and consulting endeavor. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, when I moved back from New York City, I had been working as an administrative assistant. I started the blog. I then leveraged the blog into a marketing job managing the blog and social media for a company, which back in 2012, companies were just starting to turn to blogging and social media as a complement to their other marketing efforts. I worked my way up, moved to another company, just kind of learned along the way. I always want to learn. And then I decided, the blog is my focus, but I still have to support myself. And so moving into the full-time working for myself role, I have clients, but it also allows me more time to focus on the blog. And my current endeavor, which is taking up all of my mental energy and focus, is my award-winning web series, Awkward Money Chat, which we film here in Atlanta where I live, and we interview people who have different or unique financial stories. And it started just as a fun kind of thing I wanted to do to get into video, and then we won the award, and so I thought, well, maybe this is something. And so we wanted to do a season 2 and kind of see where we're from there. So we've been lining up guests and getting equipment and planning that out. So the first episode of season 2 will deploy on May 4th. And then we put up a new episode on lbandthemoneytree.com every Monday for the next 8 weeks. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're filming it all in 2 days, which is why it's so crazy. People think we just get together and do these little chats, but in order to make it economical, we film them all back to back to back on 2 days.
Wow.
So a lot of planning and organization to go into that.
Absolutely. Wow. Okay. So what tips do you have for other women who may want to do what you're doing now with blogging or anything? What advice do you have for them?
So through my Business Beehive content, I also offer blog coaching. So I have a handful of clients. Some are bloggers who want to have a personal blog that they like to leverage into side income. And I also work with they might start a blog as a way to get the word out about what they're doing. But for women, I see this a lot. They struggle with consistency and making time to blog within their already busy schedules. So my tip would be just to keep at it, because eventually you're excited in the beginning, and then you'll get to a certain point and say, why isn't this doing what you? My advice is always to just break through that. Because people think they can just throw up a blog and it's instant overnight success, and it's actually a lot of hard work over the course of many, many days, months, and years to kind of get to where they see all these other bigger bloggers. So that's my main tip, just be consistent and keep going.
All right, cool. So tell me something that happened to you maybe recently or in the past that's embarrassing, and how you overcame it. How did you get over it?
So something that was really embarrassing that I struggled with for a while was I racked up a lot of credit card debt to renovate my home. It was about $10,000 worth at the time, and I said I was going to pay it off in 2014, and then I didn't. And so because I have a personal finance blog, I think people sort of expect that I have my finances completely in order, that I'm perfect with money, and that just isn't the case. But on top of that, I had a lot of credit card debt that I just kept hanging out and just paying the minimums on, which is, a very bad thing to do. And so at the beginning of this year, 2015, I wrote a big post and kind of came clean about how much credit card debt I was in, and having to share that with my readers, I was very, very scared about what the reaction would be, but everyone was very supportive, and I think I was the one that was the most thing to get through, for sure.
Yeah, that's usually how it is, right? We're harder on ourselves than everybody else is, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
How it is. Yeah, one lady that she's a stress management coach, Beth Toto. I did her interview a few months ago, and she said that we should show a little more compassion to ourselves. And that was one instance where you should have shown yourself a lot more compassion.
Thank you.
Yeah, because we easily give out compassion and empathy to everybody else, but we don't take the time to show it to ourselves. So that's what I learned from Beth, from her interview. So you should definitely,
Thank you. You're making me feel better about it already. I finished paying it off at the end of March.
I saw that.
Thank you. Yeah, so I do feel better about it, but I'll keep that in mind.
You should. So do you have any last words of encouragement, Lauren, to our women, our viewers, our listeners?
I will say that my life completely changed once I started paying attention to what I was doing with my money. And even though I didn't have a lot of money, and I still don't. I'm in my mid-20s. I work for myself. Even though I don't have a lot of money, consciously focusing on my finances has allowed me to consciously focus on other areas of my life. And I think finances are a great place to start, because if you think about it, we completely control our money. Mm-hmm. Like how much comes in, how much goes out, what we do with it, it's all up to our control. And I think practicing good patterns in that also affects how you approach your day-to-day life. So,
okay.
For those who may be scared to look at their money, or afraid of, where it's going or what might happen, I say just look at it every day. Mm-hmm. and go from there.
Okay. All right. Awesome. So where can we find you? I mean, that's good advice. It's like, wow, I want savings tips. I want, how can I save my money? So, do you have any tips for women?
Do you want some savings?
Do you have any that you want to throw out there really quickly?
Absolutely. Pay yourself first. So pay your like expenses, your bills, and then put money in your savings, and then whatever's left over you can spend. But then also put that money in a savings account that's completely separate from your checking, where you have to physically like move it from one place to the other. No auto draft, none of that. Because for me, I was putting money in a savings account so close to checking, and I would just dip into it whenever I needed. And it was way too easy. And I was shocked when I started moving it to this other account how quickly it built up because I wasn't touching it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay, so kind of move it maybe to another bank where it's not easy access.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right. I think I read that somewhere. Maybe on your blog. Okay.